Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well this morning on a Monday morning, already the 22nd day of October. And of course, those goblins are getting ready, and those ghosts are getting ready as Halloween's just around the corner. But first of all, we've got a huge football game this week, beginning with Troy University and South Alabama going at it hard this Tuesday in Mobile as the Trojans and the Jaguars play for the belt. They've for 6 years they've been playing for the belt that holds all bragging rights in the game. And right now, going into Saturday tomorrow night's game in Mobile, both teams are even Steven in the series, 3-3, and all 3 wins for Troy and all 3 wins for South Alabama have been on the other team's home field. So Troy is trying to make something real different for the last couple of years. Troy will be bringing 10 student buses full of students. They'll be bringing 9 band buses full of band members. The Sound of the South takes 9 buses to carry all of them. And then there'll be 3 team buses, including administration and cheerleaders. And also there'll be 2 fan buses. I know one fan bus that I'm involved in will be leaving Troy at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon from the Alumni House. And if you'd like to go, call this number today, 372-2001, 372-2001, and we'll get you on that bus, and it'll be a lot of fun as we plan on leaving at 2 o'clock, going to South Alabama. We're going to have a big barbecue, which will be included in your price, and should be some good food and a lot of excitement as Troy and South Alabama get after it at Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile, and it should be a good one. Of course, one of the things that is so interesting about this year's matchup is that 3 of their head coach, their offensive coordinator, and their defensive coordinator all played for Troy, and that'll tell you something right now. And we'll talk about that more in our show about what a huge rivalry this is going to be, and getting to be even bigger with all the Troy flavor on the South Alabama side of the field. So should be a great game. We look forward to it as Troy goes up against South Alabama in a big Sun Belt game, especially for Troy. Troy needs to keep winning in the Sun Belt Conference and get down to that last big game with Appalachian State. And in fact, there are 2 very big games at the end. One is Georgia Southern. Then the other is Appalachian State, and the other will be the winner of the other division, the East Division, which is Arkansas State. So, boy, it could be one heck of a season for us all over with. In fact, if Troy could win Tuesday and win the rest of the remaining of their remaining of their games, which would include some pretty good football teams, especially Georgia Southern. I think, I don't know the exact date of that. I want to say Georgia Southern, then Appalachian State, and the winner, if Troy wins out there, they'll play probably Arkansas State for the Sun Belt Conference Championship. And the winner of that championship would get the automatic berth to the New Orleans Bowl, which is scheduled for, I do believe, December 15th. So lots in store. And of course, again, another very important thing about the schedule, winning the rest of the games this year, by beating South Alabama, by beating Georgia Southern, by beating Texas State, and then by beating App State, and then the winner of those two divisions with the best record. Let's say if Troy runs the table and they win all of their conference games, that means they will host the championship game. The first ever Sun Belt championship game would be hosted by Troy at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy, which would be unbelievable as far as the outstanding season it could be for Troy if they ran the table. And then, as we said, the winner of the Sun Belt Conference Championship playoff would be the outright winner of the Sun Belt Conference, and the outright winner is given the opportunity to have first choice in the bowls that are set up for the Sun Belt Conference, and that would probably be the New Orleans Bowl, which would be on December the 15th. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out these cool savings going on now during our hot summer sale at your local Troy and Ozark Road Mart. Like our $29.99 oil change special or our $129.99 brake special. We'll also keep you cool during these hot days of summer with our $29.99 AC special. So come see us and take advantage of these hot summer specials at your friendly Troy and Ozark Road Mart, where we've been serving our friends and neighbors all over the Wiregrass since 1974.
At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we support our military. That's right, not a $1,000 sign-on bonus, but $1,200 sign-on bonus at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Thanks for your service. Thanks for your service. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we support our military.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
Beat them in overtime. Back to our show. Mike Amos has joined us this morning on Today in L.A., and he's calling in from Birmingham, and everybody's still chatting a lot about Charles Henderson High's big win over Tallahassee this weekend, Mike, where they came from 2 touchdowns down in the second half and won the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. We were leaving the Mountain Brook Thompson game. We were watching Tallulah Tumbavaloa.
Yeah, he was good.
And he's a star. Of course, he's already committed to Alabama, and Mountain Brook was undefeated in that game, and Thompson goes in and just blows them out 31-7. You were at that game, and then I came in the third and fourth quarter and watched a little bit of it. But huge crowd in Mountain Brook, and they got their hearts broke as far as watching their team just basically, they couldn't even stay on the field with Thompson. That is a huge win for Charles Henderson. I was shocked that they went on the road and won at Tallahassee. That's an extremely tough place to play, but apparently they got some breaks on the muff punt and threw the ball to some receivers I've never even heard of. McKinley, I guess?
Yeah, he's real good. McKinney, yeah.
Or McKinney, and found a way to win a big game on the road. Charles Henderson's had a really tough season and hadn't played that well, but, they found a way to win 3 area games, and now they're in the playoffs. So their overall record might be 3-6 when it's all said and done, but they're going to be in the playoffs. So I guess, that's your ultimate goal, to get to the playoffs, and, it looks like something they can achieve.
Well, let me give
it Baldwin County in a few weeks, and that's going to be extremely tough.
Let me give everybody some highlights of the game. Charles Henderson High School overcame a 2-touchdown halftime deficit Friday night to force the Tallahassee Tigers into overtime, with junior quarterback Puka Jones finding senior Chance Pollard in the end zone for a touchdown, and eventually a remarkable 34-28 win in the historic J.E. Hott O'Brien Stadium. Friday night was the second in as many weeks for the Trojans over a Class 5A top 10 team last week, defeating Carroll of Ozark, and then pulled their second upset with the big win over 10th-ranked Tallahassee this past Friday night. There were so many kids, so many players that had a hand in this win, said head coach Brad McCoy. I don't think I've ever seen a group of guys as resilient about winning a ball game and going into the second half scoring 2 touchdowns. My hat's off with them. Of course, it looks like with the win, Charles Henderson is mathematically, it appears that Charles Henderson also secured a Class 5A playoff berth with the 2 region wins over Carroll and Tallahassee, with another region contest coming up this Friday night in Troy against Valley. So what a great game it was. Charles Henderson comes back after trailing in 21-6 in the going into the second half. Do you remember this guy right here, this Cochran Gill? Do you remember him?
I don't.
Well, I remember him from other games, and I would have thought for sure he had graduated a long time ago, and he was the star player for or the quarterback for Tallahassee. But it was a huge win for Charles Henderson. And Puka Jones, of course, the quarterback, Mike, the junior quarterback, really had a great game. But what he did, and I'm going to flip over here and give you more insight of what happened in the ball game, was he found his receivers open when they needed to be open to win the game. You throw the ball every time, but if your receiver's not open, you're in trouble. And I thought he really just played a brilliant football game. And
yeah, I know you'd probably like to watch that game. Maybe you get able to run it today. So
I would. You're right. I would like that. It would tickle me to see that game, or see the Carroll game the week before. It was awesome.
You had Wally Lowry and Neil Armstrong doing the game, and then my good buddy John Witherington apparently was the cameraman. I didn't know John Witherington could do a camera, but I guess.
You mean John Witherington did the camera?
Yeah, saw it on Facebook.
Oh boy, that's something. And boy, it was a great game, no question about it.
Of course, amazing weekend in college football. Purdue absolutely destroys Ohio State. I mean,
have you ever seen a football game that it looked like the fans were freezing to death but having a wonderful time? I bet there was a party there. And of course, I thought Auburn hitting the field with that big win over Alabama hey, I don't think it could get any bigger than Purdue and the way they packed that stadium after the game.
Yeah, it seemed like every single seat was empty. I don't know how many of that stadium holds, maybe 70,000.
But, you know, you just felt the joy from, you know, they've been getting killed every year, and excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen, but it's, in layman's terms in football, when you get beat bad, you could say you're being killed. Well, this time the killing was on the other foot, Mike. They killed Ohio State.
Yeah, they have a receiver named Turner that apparently is like this unbelievable speedster.
Yeah, he is.
Squat 600 pounds, and they threw a little out route to him late in the game, and he broke 2 or 3 tackles and ran into another touchdown, and they won 49-20. I mean, it wasn't even close. And
their quarterback was outstanding too. It was just a great team effort. It really was.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the country, you had Washington State and Gardner Minshew, who people have no clue originally committed to Troy.
That's right.
Actually was in the spring with Troy several years ago. Ends up going to East Carolina, and then from East Carolina was going to commit to Alabama and just be a 3rd or 4th string quarterback. Apparently he wants to be a coach. All he does is go out to Washington State, and he's the leading passer in the country for his yardage.
Yeah.
Putting up absolutely huge numbers, and now he's going to become a Washington State legend.
He's from somewhere in Georgia. He came to Troy's camps. I wish we had a Troy coach explaining
it. This is an interesting story. And then he's playing for Mike Leach only because of the fact, tragically, their starting quarterback committed suicide.
That's right. Exactly right.
Rolinski. And this guy is leading the country in passing and upsets Oregon the other night. But a lot of people didn't realize that was a game that a lot of people should have took Washington State. Washington State's down 4 in a row against Oregon.
Oh, yeah. It's really been something, no question about it. Washington State and Leach, you know, everybody talks about Leach, and, you know, he's the one that got in trouble with the kid with the migraine headaches. He put him in a dark room. Everybody I've ever heard of that had bad migraine headaches, they put him in a dark room.
Yeah, Craig James' son.
And Craig James' son, he did that to Craig James' son, and Craig James went crazy.
Got political, yeah.
Got political, and they fired Leach. Let me tell you this. Leach went into talk radio after that. Mike, he's the best talk radio guy I've ever heard.
You know, he was on doing an interview the other day, and he said his most favorite place on earth is the Floribama bar.
His what now? His wordplays on earth or what? His favorite?
No, his favorite place.
Oh, yeah.
The Floribama bar down on the Florida-Alabama line. He was telling a story about all the different times he's been down there. Apparently, he went to some kind of graduate school down in Mobile. He's got some kind of Alabama connection.
Yeah. Well, let me say one other thing about the Leach and all of this connection thing. It all goes back to Valdosta State.
Yeah, Hal Mumme.
Where Hal Mumme, the coach at Valdosta State, played against Troy, developed this offense. I don't know what you would have called it, but
it's called the Air Raid.
All right, let's write down a few names of some people that were associated with.
Well, I mean, the biggest names are Leach, Mumme, Neil Brown.
The coach Hatcher at Sanford.
Troy's offense coordinator, Matt Moore.
Now, Neil Brown was not at Valdosta, Mike.
I know, but he learned on Tony Franklin.
Under Tony Franklin, who was with Mumme at Kentucky. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then
you also got Dana Holgerson, the West Virginia coaches involved.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is unreal how all of this developed from Mumme and Valdosta State College of Valdosta, Georgia. And, you know, you would think that there's
some other guys.
Well, Troy's line coach and offensive.
I said Matt Moore.
Yeah, Matt Moore came out of there.
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley came out of Valdosta?
No, he came out of Texas Tech playing for.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you got to keep on adding on to the coaches that learned under the offense.
And then, of course, Neil Brown played under Mumme at Kentucky, then left them and went to
UMass for 1 year.
UMass, and then went to Delaware, and then went to Kentucky.
I think.
Well, actually went to Troy as a young coach. You're right.
Yeah, he was Troy's receivers coach or something.
And then left there and went to Texas Tech as Tuberville's offensive coordinator.
That's right.
And
Bill Brown's been at Troy for 8 years.
And Tony Franklin, where was Tony? Where was he after Troy, Mike?
Well, Franklin went to Middle.
Yeah, went to Middle Tennessee.
And then went to La Tech, and then he left La Tech.
Went to California.
A lot of people don't realize the top quarterback in the pros right now is Jared Goff for the Rams.
And was coached by Tony Franklin.
Yeah, he was coached under Tony Franklin at California.
Man, it is a unreal story. You could write a book. You could call it the Valdosta story, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
It all came out.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but kind of a make or break of the season tomorrow for Troy. For them to come out and hopefully find a way to win on the road against South Alabama. I mean, after losing that game to Liberty, all Liberty does this weekend is gives up 41 points to Idaho State.
And gets beat.
And they barely survived 48-41.
Well, Liberty beat them 48-41.
So Idaho State puts 41
Yeah.
at Liberty, and Troy puts 16. So
Yeah.
how in the world does that happen?
Yeah. I was in Birmingham this weekend. We're going to get back to all this. I was in Birmingham this weekend.
You had an extremely busy weekend.
I sure did. And went up there to my little granddaughter's, Millie's, first birthday, and had a wonderful time. But prior to that, Friday night, we went over to Mountain Brook, which was just a hop, skip, and jump from where Mike lives in Birmingham. And we saw I saw the Mountain Brook Spartans play the Thompson of Alabaster's Warriors, who has Tua's brother on it. And, of course, I'm going to tell you another insight. Of course, it was about 8,000 fans packed in the stadium. The difference in them and everybody else is, Mike, instead of hamburgers, they serve Chick-fil-A sandwiches at Mountain Brook. And they give you a dill pickle with every sandwich you buy, too. That's something else. But I sat there and my wife sat the ball game, and this young man from Thompson just riddled. And this was the number one team in the state, I think, Mike, undefeated.
Well, no, they weren't number one, but they were in the top five.
Yeah, they were number one, they're undefeated. And this team from Thompson, led by Tua's brother, just ran up and down the field on Mountain Brook. Beat them 31-6 or 7.
Yeah, it could have been worse than that. They kind of let off the gas late in the game. But
and what an atmosphere for football.
Thompson only lost one game, too, so they're having a really good season. But it was fun to go out there and watch that. And then, of course, you went and saw the UAB Blazers and Coach Bill Clark.
Well, my daughter works for UAB.
North Texas, of course, that was an old rival of Troy's in the Sun Belt, and now they're leading the Conference USA, and Bill Clark is having another phenomenal season.
Oh, man.
UAB.
I tell you, I went to that game and met with Johnny Williams. He was at the game. His son, David, coaches for UAB.
Well, one of your favorite coaches of all time, Brian Benson's their offensive.
Yeah, offensive coordinator. And let me tell you, they played it was the same, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it was the same North Texas team that Troy beat in the New Orleans Bowl last year. Their quarterback was the same little quarterback, Mike, that was...
his name's Mason Fine. He's really good.
Mason Fine, really good. And they dominated the first half, so I said, well, we had some babies with us, so we felt like we had to get on home and get them in bed. But the next morning, I looked in the paper, and it showed where they had come back and scored 18 unanswered points to win the game 29-21, something like that.
Yeah, it was a special night for UAB. They're, involved with the Children's Hospital and helping kids that are struggling with, different, disabilities and fighting different diseases. And they were all wearing those kids' names on the back of their jerseys.
I thought that was a wonderful gesture.
So that was a really great thing they did for the city of Birmingham, and I'm sure that meant a lot to those UAB players, especially coming back and winning that game. But, I mean, Bill Clark has got to be one of the highest coaches in the country. I mean, he goes to 8 8-4 last year after basically, the football program is wiped off the map. They discontinued football at UAB, and now he's 6-1 this year. I mean, you talking about a guy that a lot of people have got to be looking at the end of the season. I mean, it's incredible.
I've heard a lot of rumors, a lot of different things, how he's applied for jobs before, but did not take them because they would not let him take his whole staff. He's that loyal to his staff. Wherever he goes, his staff goes too. And so whoever hires him is going to have to hire his whole staff. But let me just say this about them. There were over 30,000 fans at least. They had the big side was almost packed, Mike, of Legion Field. And they plan on tearing that beautiful old stadium down, and that is still a wonderful place to watch a football game. It's a great place.
A lot of it has to do with the area of town it's in.
I know
it's a real poor area.
They had somebody said they had 30,000 fans, and probably another 10 or 15 probably didn't go because they were afraid.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where if
because it is a bad part of Birmingham, a part where there's a lot of crime.
Unfortunately, a lot of crime, in that area. And, it's one of those things.
I felt totally safe. It was a lot of people at the game. We got there.
The designated parking areas are fine, but if you have
that's right.
You'd be parking in the different neighborhoods.
I was telling some stories where we used to park in these front yards of some of these people.
Just hope our car would
and
be
just hope that everything was intact once we got back. But
I'll say this. I mean, I will say, if I continue to live in Birmingham, I would definitely attend more UAB games if it was downtown, which I'm hoping.
And that stadium is being constructed. Do you know what is being constructed as we speak? Did you know that?
Oh, it's holding. Oh, I know they broke ground. I didn't know they actually building on it. It's going to be 50,000 seats.
And it's going to be a super thing for UAB. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you something about UAB. I like their quarterback. Man, oh man.
Yeah, Hurley's a good quarterback.
Where does he come from? Do you know where he comes from, Mike?
I don't know. I know Spencer Brown comes from the school in North Birmingham. We talk about a lot. I'll have to remember the name.
Who is his dad? Who is Spencer Brown's dad?
Mortimer Jordan is where Brown's from.
Okay. But this kid, this early kid, was a good quarterback. And it was a great game. And North Texas had a good football team. And they looked like they were in control of the game. At the half, it looked like they were in control of the game. So we left at halftime after the halftime performance, and they had the old-fashioned crowning of the queen, which I was excited about and enjoyed watching. And I met with a lot of my daughter's friends that she works with, great people, and I had a great time. Really did.
Yeah, Camilla's over the Department of Arts and Sciences there at UAB and has a really good job.
Full Moon, I'll tell you this, Mike. Full Moon catered their huge alumni tent, and it was a big, big tent. And Full
Moon is really good, and they got the best chocolate chip cookies ever.
Mike, you are exactly right. And I got a pocket full, and I was eating on one last night before I went to bed. You know what I like about them? They put nuts in them.
Yeah, well, they also cover them with chocolate on the top of them.
I'll tell you a couple other things.
Covered with chocolate on half of them.
And, of course, Mike and I are connoisseurs of good food. But it was really good food, no question. Johnny Williams was telling me the hot dog was one of the best he ever had. Little things like that. If a family wants to go to the game and pay $3 for a hot dog, if it's a good hot dog, it's pretty much fun. When you say?
Yeah, I was able to watch that game on television. I actually picked that up on a station I have, and I was able to watch a little bit of it. That was a good game.
Well, I'll tell you a couple other things. Like you said, Full Moon catered it, and their slaw I thought was outstanding, Mike. Have you ever tasted their slaw?
Yeah, I've had everything there. I tell you, the best thing to me they have there is their baked potatoes are literally like about 4 pounds. They're huge.
Well, let me tell you what they had after we got through eating the barbecue. And, of course, the barbecue was good. They had barbecue chicken and barbecue pork. But, Mike, they had those donut, what is it, they deep fry?
Oh, beignets?
Not beignets, but like a beignet. What do you call them? The flat donuts. What do you call them? They deep fry them, and it comes out like a pancake.
You talking about like a
funnel cake? Yeah, they had funnel cakes that were, and a little Macon. My little granddaughter just loved them.
I tell you what, I just went on Scores and Odds, and what would you think the Troy out South Alabama line was going to be?
Well, I just happened to see it myself. 11, which is crazy.
At 11.5, that is.
I would almost call the game even. I would call it even.
I would too. I mean, did Vegas not watch that game against Liberty? I mean,
did Vegas know that Troy's quarterback, first-string quarterback? And when I was telling people that this weekend,
it clearly says the quarterback's out. But I mean, I guarantee you, if Troy wins by 1 point, I'm going to be jumping up and down.
I'm going to tell you something I heard in the line, and it was in the funnel cake line. People, big diehard UAB people behind us, and they were saying,
they said they want Troy.
Well, they were just talking back and forth about the coaches and talking about what a good coach our coach was, and what a good coach theirs was. And I said, yeah, we'll be lucky to keep both of them. He said, oh, no, our guy's not going anywhere. He's loyal. I said, listen, nobody's loyal when somebody throws $2 or $3 million in their face.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do that for your family.
Troy's coach is making more money. They listed the money. What was Troy's making? 800.
I think Brown makes 800.
Brown makes 800.
Clark just signed for about 900,000. I think is what.
Oh, did he? I thought his was around 800. I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, he got more money when they won. They went to a bowl game last year.
And of course,
Appalachian State's ranked right now.
Oh man, that's great. They got a good team. But what I'm saying,
the biggest week in the Sun Belt play. Actually, come Thursday night, you'll have a huge game. Appalachian State at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, that'll be a big one there. And in fact, if Troy could find a way to run the table and beat, not run the table, but go down to the final game against App State, it could be something. It really could.
Yeah, Troy's going to have to, Sawyer Smith's going to have to find a way to not overthrow guys, and offensive line's got to play a better game, and Troy's going to have to find a way to be able to throw the ball better, because if they're one-dimensional, they're going to put 9 in the box, and Troy's not going to be able to score any points. So, this is going to be – I'm more curious to watch this Troy game than any in the last, probably 5 or 6 years to see how they come out against South Alabama.
Well, right now, leaving Troy University tomorrow, and, of course, what I'd like to see would be to see the parade of buses coming from Montgomery tomorrow. Wouldn't you love to be out on the highway and see 23, 25 buses bumper to bumper heading to Troy?
What time y'all head down tomorrow?
All right, our bus still has plenty of room. If you would like to join our bus in the morning and leave at 2 o'clock, we'll get to Mobile around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Then we're going to a big tailgate when we get there. We're going to feed over 800 people at this tailgate. Barbecue.
Man, I tell you, I went there a few years ago. It was at the bowl game.
You remember that?
God, that was some of the best seafood ever y'all had down there.
Yeah, no question. And, of course, Mobile knows how to do it now. They do a great job. But 2 years ago, we had a big fan group. But, ladies and gentlemen, 10 buses, Trailways buses, and that they ought to give me money for advertising their bus lines. And somebody needs to call them and tell them they need to jump off the price of their bus to us, about $500. But Trailways will have 10 student buses. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Trailways buses instead of the university buses. It could be the university buses, though, couldn't it?
I have no clue.
I don't know, but I want to say they've got 10 student buses. They've got 9 band buses. It takes 9 buses to carry the band, and each bus holds around 50. Then they'll have at least 2, probably 3 buses to carry the team, and all the managers and the fans and the administration people. So another 3. So what is that? That's 22 right there. Then there will be a fan bus, alumni fan bus, makes it 23, and then there's a bus coming out of Dothan. I think it's one of the banks down there. It's putting on a bus from Dothan.
You got a bus coming out of the Emerald Coast down there in Dustin?
Yeah, that's right. And then there's a bus coming out of the Emerald Coast. So we're looking at around 25 buses that will be coming to to Mobile, Alabama. They'll be staying at, they'll be parked right there at Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile. And
it's pretty funny. For within 2 or 3 days, you'll go to the oldest, most decrepit stadiums in the country. You'll be going from Legion Field to Ladd Peoples Stadium. Ladd Peoples Stadium, if people think Legion Field's bad, Ladd Peoples Stadium is awful.
Well, it's older. Well, and I thought Legion Field was fine, Mike. It looked good to me. They boxed off all of the end zones, and they
took off the upper deck several years ago.
Yeah, and then they boxed off the end zones. They're not trying to draw any more than 50,000. I think at one time, it was Legion Field, home of the football capital of the world, what they called it.
Football capital of the South.
Of the South, and Legion Field in Birmingham, and it held right at 80,000.
Statue out front. I mean, it's historic. There's no doubt about it. The Olympics were there playing soccer several years ago.
Exactly. Mike,
I can't believe though that the city of Mobile. I don't know what the latest is. Didn't pass for the new stadium for South Alabama.
And I heard it was a former Troy guy that had something to do with it.
That's hard to believe, though. I mean, all they wanted was a 25,000 seat stadium, and they have a medical school there, have tons of money.
And I'll tell you right now, and I said the same thing about UAB. Now, the UAB was voted down too, Mike. UAB could not. It was voted down. They would not allow them to build a stadium on their campus.
Times it was, but it's been passed now.
Yeah, but let me tell you now, to build it, they wanted to build it right there on their campus. Well, that was voted down. The stadium now will be built on the other side of the Sheridan, downtown Birmingham.
It's called the Uptown District. They have a Weston, and they have Sheridan, and then they have Top Golf over there, tons of bars.
Got a bunch of restaurants. I mean, it's going to be a super place to be, and it's going to be a great.
The high school state championship will be there from here on out.
Yeah, and another positive thing about it for people that support UAB, it's going to enhance their program tremendously.
Oh yeah, the Birmingham Bowl will be there as well.
And like a guy that knows his stuff pretty well. He told me the other night they probably would have been closer to 50,000 people if it was in a different location. People just don't want to go to that area of town because of the crime. And and of course, but I thought it was 30,000 people, and I thought the stadium was very adequate for that amount of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Coach Clark's building a program that, I would think in maybe 2 or 3 more years they might move to the American Conference. How the conference should say. I mean, there'll be a program that probably will jump one more time conference-wise, I would imagine.
Another thing that helps them out a lot.
It would be a really good fit playing Central Florida and Memphis and Houston. I could see UAB doing that easily.
Well, another positive thing about UAB is they have a real good basketball program. Their basketball program is well respected, so whoever goes after them, if it's a basketball conference, they'd love to have UAB.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Basketball arena holds 10,000. It's huge.
Let me just tell you what winners are made of, Mike.
You picked Purdue, didn't you?
No, well, first of all, I picked Charles Henderson over Tallahassee. I picked Carroll to beat Beauregard and lost. I took undefeated Headland to beat Dale County, and they did. Pike County's on a roll, Mike. They killed Opp. Arrington defeated G.W. Long handily. Now,
what's better, killed or slaughtered?
Now, Mike, I'm going to surprise you again. New Brockton, and I took New Brockton. They beat Highland home. Did you know that?
You sure about that? I saw Highland
Let's
Home.
double check it. Let's double check it. Let's double check it.
I thought Highland Home would
All right, I will find out here. I could be wrong. Let's see. It's in 2A or 3A?
2-0.
2A. And New Brockton against Highland Home. Let's see here.
No, Zion Chapel got destroyed. They got beat. 60.
You're exactly right. You are exactly right. I lost that one. Highland Home did beat New Brockton. So the Squadron is still playing. Well, Squadron is the champion of Crenshaw County. Let's give them a huge hoorah this morning. Hoorah! Man, the Flying Squadron, when is the last time, Mike?
Is New Brockton in Crenshaw County or Coffee County?
It's in Crenshaw County. No, not New Brockton, Mike, but Highland Home.
I know Highland Home is, but did Highland Home play Brantley? Did we ever
No, yeah, they beat Brantley,
Okay.
I think. I know they beat Luverne. And I think they beat Brantley, but somebody called me wherever.
Their only loss is to Georgiana, I think.
Get Bud to call us this morning, but I think I want to say that the champion of Crenshaw County is going to be Highland Home, which would be the first time in, gosh, forever. Maybe the first time ever.
Of course, we've been on air for about 40 minutes and didn't even mention that Auburn had a big win over in Oxford. So maybe Gus has got the bus turned around for a week or two. And
War Eagle! All you Auburn fans, it's not over yet. Auburn turns it around, beats Ole Miss at Ole Miss, and beat them handily, Mike. Didn't you think? Auburn still got a little punch on defense.
yeah, that Davidson kid out of Greenville.
He's an All-American. The Davidson kid out of Greenville is an All-American.
I think he's blocked 4 field goals this year.
Yeah, he's been
That
phenomenal.
was really big early in the game, blocking that field goal, and then Auburn got the ball back and scored.
Yeah.
I tell you, Whitlow,
Yeah, he's a good
he's
back.
running back for Auburn.
He's a good back. He's hard to.
George Russian.
But you know what? For the second, was it the first or second week week that he,
To the goal line.
yeah, got stripped at the goal line. Isn't that right? That's the second time this year.
Yeah, the Swartz guy, who's like an Olympic sprinter, ran down. He recovered the ball.
Yeah,
But I tell you what, Auburn holding Ole Miss like that is impressive, though. Ole Miss,
Yeah.
I don't even realize they didn't even score a touchdown until about a minute left in the game.
yeah. Mike, I'm gonna put you on hold. Be right back. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike, Bud, and Luverne.
Good. Bud and Luverne, and we're going to get some answers, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. Is Highland Home the champion, or do they have to play Brantley?
No. Brantley and Highland played in a preseason jamboree. Neither one of those schools could, for several years, have not been on the regular season schedule. It's always been a preseason jamboree.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Brantley won, it was tit for tat, but the final score with the varsity and the JV playing all together was a 19-17 win over Highland Home by Brantley.
Yeah, I got you.
So, you know, in reality, we don't have a true champ because Brantley and Highland Home, now, when they were in the Brantley, well, when they even in 1A ball, there were a lot of years they wasn't in the Brantley region. So,
Yeah.
we hadn't had a true champion over here in several years.
Well, I'm glad you brought that attention. I was thinking that, but I tell you got to take your hat off to Highland Home. Man, their coach has done a super job.
They have the whole. Listen, they've done really, really well. I went and watched them play Luverne a couple of weeks ago, and it was a 31-28 victory by Highland Home. They're big and physical, got a good running game. Don't throw the ball a lot. They got a senior-laden quarterback that he'll tuck that ball and run, and it was just a great ball game. And they won their area, and Luverne come in second. Looks like New Brockton may come in third, and Goshen come in fourth. Now, that's the way it looks, you know, from this standpoint.
Did Goshen make the playoffs? I hope they did.
Well, it's close. It all depends on what they do. They got to play Highland Home Friday night.
Okay.
So that's more or less if pencil in a loss for Goshen. We've got to go to Sampson, but I think it's all going to come down to, they got that last game was Zion Chapel and somebody. Zion Chapel's got a region game on the 10th game of the schedule. Not many schools in the state do that anymore, but there are a few that has that 10th game as a region game.
That could help them, couldn't it?
Yeah, that could help them out. But I want to give kudos to CCA too. Coach Wayne Grant at CCA has done a
boy. He really had. They won again.
They won again. They sitting there. They got to go to Meadowview, I think, this coming Friday night and play Meadowview, who's down. But we all know about Coach Grant here in South Alabama, and like you said, Coach Coggins, rumor at the Highland Home Luverne game that either this season or next season may be his last, because his wife, now he drives from Babina to Highland Home every day.
Yeah.
And his wife's I think a nurse or something with in the medical field, and I think she in the next year or two is going to get a nice promotion and have to move, and he's not going to be able to do it. But let's worry about the present. I know you got Mike on the other line. I'll call you later on this week, and we'll talk some football. But
well, I tell you, I've enjoyed it tremendously. Hey, how about this? Hats off to Sampson. They scored 60 points. They put 60 on Zion Chapel.
I never would have thought it, because I thought Zion Chapel had come on and started playing some good ball, and they had, I thought they were a little better than Sampson, and that just goes to show you that on any Friday night. Listen, that caught me blindsided. I never thought Sampson would score 60 points on anybody.
I didn't think so either.
Zion Chapel. But I'll call you later on toward the week and give you a rundown on what the playoffs may look like for the area teams, and I'll give you a call.
All right, that will be wonderful. I'll enjoy that and look forward to it.
All right, buddy. Have a good week.
Thank you. And we appreciate it. Mike Amos, you back on the line? Mike Amos, you're back on the line.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, that was Bud and Mike Sampson. Highland Home and Brantley did not play a regular season game. Played just a jamboree. So there's no true champion. But I want to mention that Crenshaw Christian won again, Mike. They're loaded, buddy. They have really played well this year.
I tell you, that was a squeaker. Pike Little Arts won 7-6.
I know it. Everybody talked about how.
I've never heard of it in my life, called Success Unlimited.
Success Unlimited. They're out of Birmingham, and Mike, you don't know this guy, but I know this guy, Bill Marsh, who coached at Troy under Billy Atkins when Billy Atkins first got to Troy. Of course, he coached many years at Birmingham and worked with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. He died this weekend, and he was 85 years old. Mike, he was one of the meanest coaches ever. Ever. He was, Atkins brought him in to run everybody off, and he did a good job.
So he was under Atkins at Troy, and what did he do after that? He go back into high school?
Yeah, went back to high school. And of course, he was very active in Birmingham athletics for a long time. He coached at several places and played baseball and football at Howard. And of course, Howard College, old Sanford University.
A lot of Tennessee fans were crying in the stands as they watched the Tua Tagovailoa magic. Tell you what, I've watched college football since I was a baby. Of course, I don't know how many games I've been to, but I mean, watching him throw the football and making the throws he makes is almost incredible.
Yeah.
I think if you listen to Gary Danielson, a guy that's been around for 50-plus years in football in the NFL and in college, I mean, he's even amazed. I mean, the throws he makes are just unbelievable.
Yeah, you're right. And
he gets guys right in stride.
Yeah.
They don't stop. I mean, the ball's just right there. I mean, and then on that scramble play, that throw he made in the corner of the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
The pass, I don't think I've ever seen anybody be able to make.
No, you're right.
The guy literally turns around, the ball's there. I mean, it was unbelievable coverage.
He's a real winner, too, man. You can tell he wants to be in that game and wants to be, and of course his brother, which I saw play for Thompson, he didn't run the ball one time and he looked like a sprinter. He could probably run the ball every time, but these guys don't have to run it because they throw it on a button, you know?
I mean, the percentage, a lot of people say Thompson really doesn't have a lot of good receivers this year. They lost a lot of good receivers from last year. But I tell you what, watching Alabama right now, it's just absolutely just scary. I mean, the defense still gives up too many big plays in the passing game. But, I mean, they could have scored 100 points against Tennessee, I think.
Of course,
that's how easy it was in that game.
Tennessee's last touchdown was a real fluke, you know, that interception.
A deflected, defensive lineman got the ball and basically ran through about 5 guys.
I want to mention a couple of things on the high school note, Mike, before we get back to college. And, of course, we had a tremendous weekend of football. You know the young man from Brundage, Mike, who I think was maybe one of the best high school players that ever played.
Stephen Coleman?
No, the big guy.
It's Griffin?
No, Mahan.
Mahan, yeah.
Mike, there was a Derek Mahan this weekend that played for Pike County High School. Derek Mahan, I think he played at Charles Henderson last year and transferred. Is that right?
Yeah, Benny's son was at Charles Henderson.
All right, well, let me just say this. He rushed for 263 yards on 5 plays. Have you ever heard of that in your life?
No, I've never heard of that.
He rushed for 263 yards. He scored 1 touchdown with 92, and the other touchdown, another one, was 83. So that right there was 175, and he comes back and has 3 or 4 more, 3 more big runs. He rushed
How many yards you say he rushed for?
He rushed. It says here he rushed for 263 yards.
So he averaged at least 50 yards a carry?
Yeah, I was trying to find it out of the Troy paper, but
I don't know if that's his son. I don't know if that's a cousin. I mean, there's a lot of Mayans. Everybody knows Pike County had tons of Mayans, tons of Fosters.
Exactly. What we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, and I'll be able to give you more information on that. That was an unbelievable game that he played. We'll be right back.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
A personal touch. A high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by some great people. Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Street, Dr. Damon Street, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. We appreciate them so much, and they're great supporters of local athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Derek Mahan. You know, one of those Mahan boys, and I want to say Derek played his high school football last year at Charles Henderson. Now, I just have one section of the paper, and if I find the other section, it'll be a lot easier. But this was the Troy paper, and I'm hoping that I'm going to pull it out in 1 second. But in this game, he scored a 90-plus yard touchdown. This is Derek Myhan, who is not even their regular running back. Derek Myhan got the scoring started when he hauled in a Wilson pass and scored from 25 yards out. Now, this was a pass that he caught. Derek Myhan scored the next two on runs of 31 and 51. That's 81 yards right there. Derek Myhan scored his final touchdown of the night on a 13-yard touchdown run to bring the score to 25-0. And then later, listen to this now. And later, Derek Myhan added a 92-yard touchdown run, made the Bulldogs score 38-0. And then Derek Myhan closed out the scoring with runs of 12 and 87 yards. So here it is. He ran for 31 and 51. Then he ran for 13. Then he ran for 92. Then he ran for 12, and then he ran for 87. What 5 carries for 260-some yards, I want to say, which is just simply phenomenal. And, of course, Charles Henderson, we were talking about that. And, of course, Pike County's on a roll, and I think we'll be on a roll all the way pretty good ways up into the playoffs. This is a good Pike County team, and they've got running backs. Reynolds, the other running back, had a big game, but it was Myhan who led them to victory with all those great runs for touchdowns. So remember, that might be one of the great all-time efforts that I've ever seen now. But I do remember 2 consecutive years where Ronaldo Sincade Pennington for Charles Henderson gained over 300 yards in back-to-back games against Elba his junior and senior years. So, there's been some great efforts, and a lot of them out there. Stephen Coleman, of course, I think he scored something like 90 touchdowns in his career, which was phenomenal. So it's a lot of big things have happened, but this effort by Myhan is one of the all-time great efforts out there. Ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking about great people, I want to mention a guy who I knew real well, Larry Doolittle. Larry Doolittle Jr. died at the age of 61 from his home in Marshfield, North Carolina. He was, of course, also from Troy, lived out the Needmore Road out there where Hank lived. Larry worked for Hank Williams Jr. for nearly 40 years and was still employed by Hank Williams at the time of his death. He was an avid Duke basketball fan and Alabama fan. And, of course, he left a lot of friends, a lot of family. Remember, Larry Doolittle. Big guy, great heart, great mind. And I knew Larry pretty well. The only time I ever was able to visit Hank's house was with Larry one time. Larry, also one of Larry's good friends, William Johnson, from right here in Troy. But now I find the other side of the paper, and I'll just read it to you about Myhan. The Pike County Bulldogs kept their winning ways when they knocked off Opp 51-0 on Friday night. The win for the Bulldogs was their 7th in a row and now sit at 7-1 and 6-0 in region play. Derek Myhan stole the show for the Bulldogs on Friday night when he led the team with 267 yards rushing on just 5 plays. That's got to be a record or something there. That is unbelievable. Yards per carry. Ladies and gentlemen, in a football game, with 5 or more yards per carry. Let's see if I can do the math here. All right, yards per carry would be, I would say right at 50 yards per carry or 55 yards per carry. And what an effort by Derek Mahan. And I believe he is the same Derek Mahan that led Charles Henderson as a defensive player last year. Was not even a running back. He was a defensive player. And I don't think he was a first-string running back for Pike County. I think there were some other players that Rashawn Reynolds was their top running back coming in, and he gained 106 yards on 5 carries and 2 touchdowns. So a lot of scoring going on. Of course, Charles Henderson won a huge game. Sean McKinney was one of the stars of that game. McKinney I want to say he caught 3 touchdown passes from quarterback Puka Jones. And of course, what a ball game it was. And let's give you a little rundown of how that worked. Tallahassee took an early 7-0 lead when Eric Cochran Gill blocked a Charles Henderson punt, scooped it up and ran in for a touchdown. And Tallahassee led 7-0. Quarterback Kelvin Levitt ran in from 13 yards later and made the score 14-0. The extra point was good. Charles Henderson got on the board when Jones completed a 23-yard touchdown pass to Sean McKinney. I think Sean's just a junior or sophomore. But the extra point was no good. Geis had a bad night kicking extra points. He missed 3 on the night. And with 9:22 to go in the first half, Tallahassee led 14-6. The Tigers responded with a 60-yard drive to go up 21-6 as Cochran Gill threw a 46-yard pass for a touchdown. And now I got to switch over here to the other paper. Oh, here we go. And Tarveus Griffin added that score at halftime. Charles Henderson senior defensive end Cole Coppage, who had a super game, made 10 tackles, recovering 1 fumble and recording a sack for Charles Henderson, and rushed the quarterback all night long after the game, during the second half. Jones found McKinney again for another touchdown, and the extra point was no good by Caleb Geis, and Tallahassee led the game 31-13. Tallahassee went up, and it looked like this game was over, ladies and gentlemen. Went up 28-13 on the next possession on a 1-yard run by Cochran Gill. Charles Henderson punted on their next possession, but Javontrez Allen recovered a Tallahassee fumble and ran it in from 13 yards and made the score 28-19. Geis then came in and kicked a 33-yard field goal with 9:51 to play in the game to make it 28-22. And on the next series, Jones found McKinney for their 3rd touchdown combination in the game, and it was 28-28. And Geis, who had been outstanding kicking all year long, field goals and extra points, missed the extra point, and the game had to go into overtime. In the overtime, Charles Henderson got the ball first in overtime, and on the first play, Jones threw his 4th touchdown when he hit Chance Pollard, in the right side of the end zone to put the Trojans up 34-28. Tallahassee had the ball. Mike again, and but the defense, Charles Henderson defense, pushed him back. Coppage sacked the Levitt, the Tallahassee quarterback. Cole Coppage came in and sacked him on the first play, so knocked it back to the 30-yard line. 2 incomplete passes later into the game, Charles Henderson improves to 3-4 and 2-2 in the region, while Tallahassee falls 5-3 and 3-2 in the region. Charlton.
Yeah, Ozark fell against Beauregard. We predicted that one. I think everybody took Beauregard in that one.
Yeah. Of course, Charles Henderson will play this week, go up against, and this will be a live game on Troy Cable. They'll go up against Valley, a team has always been tough to beat.
Troy was having a miserable season. Charles Henderson was. I mean, to the point where you didn't even know if they'd even win more than one game, and they beat Valley. I guess they go to 4-4, which is pretty amazing.
No question about it.
I'm not doing Charles Henderson this week.
Oh, you're not?
Nope, we're doing Beauregard with Charles Henderson next week.
Okay, all right. Okay, go do Baldwin County.
Baldwin County.
Okay, so Charles Henderson will not be the live game this week, but boy, what an effort though, and congratulations to Coach McCoy. Now you can see the replay of that game coming up on Wednesday night on the Brad McCoy Show, a review of Charles Henderson High School football. We'll be able to give you all the highlights of that game. One of the thrilling games, Mike, in Charles Henderson history, as they came from behind. And, I was in Birmingham, and I called the radio station, and they were down by 2 touchdowns. I said, man, I hate that. They're going to get beat again. And I didn't believe like I should, because Puka Jones, Mike, remember that name. Hey, he threw 4 touchdown passes. That's pretty good. That's shades of Morgan Ingram, Mike.
I mean, not Morgan Ingram.
That's shades of Ronaldo Morgan Ingram.
That's shades of Austin Ingram, not Morgan Ingram.
I know, it's giving me. Why do I keep doing that? I do that all the time.
You got to realize that Morgan
thank you.
wasn't able to throw the ball. He ran the wishbone.
Yeah, he ran the wishbone, but he probably would have been good. But Austin Ingram, the best quarterback to ever play at Charles Henderson. And there's been some great ones. Al Head was great. Wallace Hogan was great. Albert Elmore was great. But Austin Ingram, and we saw him do too many things not to think he wasn't the best to ever play quarterback at Charles Henderson.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see that he didn't at least try to play at the next level, either Division II.
Yeah.
I definitely think he probably could play Division II somewhere, but
well, he was a great one, and they had a
no doubt he could have played college football if he wanted to.
But I'll tell you something else great about him that helped him be great was he had a great wide receiver, didn't you think?
Well, yeah, he had a lot of those receivers.
Well, one of them ended up playing at Troy that was quite a good one.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had John Johnson. But
John Johnson was a great one, yeah.
You had the other kid, what was his name, that was so good, the big tall guy.
Yeah.
That would jump
I'll
catch
tell
all
you,
those balls.
I'll tell you,
that was only 4 or 5 years ago, and I can't even
I'll tell you something that John Johnson did. He caught over 20 touchdown passes his senior year.
Yeah, that state championship game, of course, Charles Henderson was undefeated, played Aniana and Don Jacobs and Brian Benny Stadium, and I mean, Charles Henderson could barely score that day on an offense that was one of the best I'd ever seen in high school football. It was amazing.
All they did was back up their safeties, and Charles Henderson, when they felt like they couldn't throw deep, they couldn't move the ball.
I mean, because before the game, I'll never forget, like if you looked at athletes, you would have thought Charles Henderson.
Oh, yeah, with Ron Paul over him. You're right, speed and all that.
But I remember Coach Dean saying after the game, about how, Richard McBride, was playing the wrong gaps, and, he was upset about the defense. The defense didn't lose that game. The offense lost that game.
No question. And another thing.
That was, I think the final score was 24-10.
And I'll tell you something else about the game was they kept the ball. They kept the ball away from Troy, and if you do that, you're going to win. Boy, I can't help but be impressed with Pike County High, Mike. They're just being relentless right now.
Goshen won this weekend too, didn't they?
Yeah, they won big. They won big, and Caleb Dawson, their great player, and he is a great one. Rushed for his 4th touchdown of the game.
So how does this work private school wise? Do they start playoffs this week?
Let's see. I'm not positive. Pike Liberal.
All right. I think private school season's over. I believe.
No, they got one more game. They will go next week to play undefeated Lakeside.
Okay.
So, and
Lakeside 3A or 2A private school?
Lakeside is 2A. Now, I think they're 2A. Also, I need to know the results of the Charleston, the Pike Liberal Arts Jamboree. They had a big Pee Wee Jamboree this weekend, Mike, and Pike Liberal's team was undefeated. Their junior varsity is undefeated, and they really have played well. Their program is really in great shape out there.
I'll tell you, big news out of Charles Anderson High School women's basketball. Maury Davenport decides on her commitment to play for the legendary coach Vivian Stringer at Rutgers.
Oh, boy. So Rutgers.
Nobody will ever be able to watch her play in this area.
I know it. Gosh, what are you doing?
Fly to New Jersey, I guess.
Oh, boy. Oh, me. Congratulations to her, but I'm selfish. I wanted to watch her play.
Yeah, if she would have gone to Starkville to play for Mississippi State, of course, they've been to the Final Four three straight years.
Wouldn't that have been great if she had come to Troy to play? Boy.
Well, she's not going to go to Troy to play. I mean, she's one of the top 20 players in the country. But
why not?
Georgia was also in the mix. But the more surprising is how in the world these Alabama and Auburn coaches must be awful if they can't at least get her in their top 5.
Yeah. And and what if they set her in front of Saban?
Well, the thing is, I mean, Vivian Stringer is a legendary coach. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, and apparently she recruited a girl from Montgomery, Robert E. Lee, and then I think recruited another girl from Hoover.
Yeah.
She's getting several Alabama girls to go up there and play for her. But tough on a family to try to go watch their daughter play. I don't even know how you can do that.
I know it. I know it. You're right. Well, she's a great one.
Congratulations to her. But
wouldn't that be great if they would play? If Rutgers would play Troy?
Yeah, that'd be great if they played anybody in the state.
I know, but wouldn't it be great if they played Troy? And they could do that. They could do that. That Rutgers got plenty of money.
So, any other games surprise you this week in college football?
Well, I was going to go down my list, Mike.
Kentucky found a way to beat Vandy, but boy, it wasn't pretty. They found a way to win that game. I think Kentucky will go on the road to lose to Missouri, though, this week.
Yeah, Missouri is pretty good, no question. I was looking at
Of course, another upset in Ohio. Temple beats an undefeated Cincinnati team, so Cincinnati's no longer undefeated.
Well, and North Carolina State's no longer undefeated. Clemson just walloped them, and I thought North Carolina would play them tough.
And then Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall left BYU, and Virginia's really playing well. They win.
And I took Virginia, Mike. It looks like I'm going to win this thing again. I don't know why.
I thought I took Virginia, too.
But you know what? I took Purdue to take it, and then I marked through them.
Yeah, I think we got you to change your mind.
Yeah, I know. That was terrible of y'all to do that. Michigan State ended up losing.
A lot of people like Michigan right now, the way they're playing with Shea Patterson.
And for some reason, I let y'all talk me into Duke. Man, what am I doing? Man, I don't know what happened to me.
Let's see if there's any other interesting scores. Lafayette played at Appalachian State and only got beat 27-17.
Let me tell you this. They're going to give Troy fits. Lafayette can score. How many points they score this week?
Well, no, they only scored 17, but they got beat 27-17, but the line was 26.
Who beat them? App State beat them?
Yeah, at Appalachian State.
That's right,
that's a huge line that wasn't even close.
No question about it. Auburn, I thought, was pretty impressive. They shut down Ole Miss's offense.
Colorado was undefeated, and they got beat as well.
No, they got beat the week before, too.
That's right, yeah. So Washington beat them 27-13.
Yeah. Southern Cal beat them the week before. Missouri made Memphis look sick. Man, I think his stock might have gone down a little bit, Mike.
Well, that great running back, Henderson, who was leading the country in rushing, got hurt. So that hurt Memphis a lot. And congratulations to Scott Frost. Nebraska finally gets his first.
I'm rooting for them. You're right.
As they killed or destroyed or beat Minnesota 53-28.
Yeah. Mississippi State lost to LSU.
How bad is Fitzgerald? I mean, he threw 4 of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life.
You brought that.
He's not even close. I mean, he throws it right to the guy.
Yeah. Mike, you brought that to my attention, and I didn't realize it. I knew he was a great runner, but he was 8 out of 28, I think, something like that, throwing the football.
But the biggest news in that game, and it's great for Alabama, is Devin White, the best linebacker in the country. A lot of people think for LSU, number 40. The guy is a preseason All-American midseason. Late in the game, there's 4 minutes left. LSU's up. The game's over. He gets a targeting penalty, pressuring Fitzgerald, helmet to helmet, and he is out of the first half against Alabama.
They got oh, man.
LSU's best player on defense gets a targeting with 5 minutes left and will not play the first half against Alabama. Huge.
So Alabama needs to score a bunch of points early, don't they?
Scores a bunch of points early anyway. That's why that's such a bad thing, is how good Alabama is in the first half.
No question about it.
But that is just unbelievable that you would do, even have him in the game, but then have a targeting. I mean, it's just, you got to be thinking when you're out there.
Yeah, no question about it. You're exactly right. LSU wins that game 19-7 or 6, something like that, or 3.
19-3. Mississippi State had the ball several times and were driving and just couldn't even come close to the end zone because he made a horrible play after horrible play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to play Mississippi State, which is still hard to believe that Auburn didn't have 9 in the box. I mean, how in the world Auburn let him run up and down the field when they knew he couldn't throw the ball?
He got 55 yards. He got 55 yards against LSU, so they shut him down. And
they got to change quarterbacks in Mississippi State, though, if he wants to try to make a bowl game this first season.
No question about it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is a strange hiring this Joe McKnight guy. I mean, I still don't know how you get a guy that was the head coach of 4 of them, offense coordinator at Penn State, to come to the South and be a head coach. I think this might be a bad hire when it's all said and done, because he's never going to have the talent he has this year that Mullen left him.
Yeah, no question.
You watch Mississippi State on defense; they're legit defense.
Yeah, they've got two guys that are probably first rounders.
Oh, at least.
Two of their defensive ends, rush ends. Alabama's got some pretty good rush ends too, though, don't they?
Yeah, Alabama definitely in that game.
And Auburn's got one from Greenville that is an All-American. He'll be a first-round guy, don't you think?
No, the guy from Greenville plays for Auburn. That's hard.
I know. I'm trying to what I'm talking about. Played for Auburn, but he'll be a first-rounder too, don't you think?
I think he'll probably be at least first, second round. Yeah, Alabama's got a guy named Quinn Williams that nobody can block. This is the backfield on every play.
What number is he, Mike?
He's 92.
Yeah, 92, 99 is real good.
Well, the Davis, they made him sit for the first half because of the punching that he did against Missouri.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, but that was just Alabama coaches doing that.
Yeah. Well, it was a good week for football. Alabama wins, Auburn wins, and
something strange happened in Pro Bowl yesterday. Baltimore has probably got the best kicker in football, Tucker. He kicked at Texas back in college, and Tucker misses an extra point yesterday against the Saints, and that game would have gone into overtime. But the Saints are red hot; they're 6-1. Yeah.
Well, let's mention before we get back to talk more about football. Copia won the CJ Cup.
It's Koepka.
Koepka wins $1.7 million. He's a big linebacker guy. I like him. He's a great guy too, Mike.
Yeah, he played at Florida State. He's a Florida guy,
and the two longest drivers on the tour were Woodland was a runner-up, but he was 4 strokes back.
Koepka is now the #1 golfer in the world.
Yeah, he really is a good player. Woodland is a guy that can also hit it a long ways. He was second. Bello, I never heard of him. Palmer, never heard of him.
Ron Palmer's from Texas.
And of course, golf is underway.
They're playing over in Korea, is where that tournament was.
You know what they had to do? There's so much money in professional golf. The PGA Tour started back their regular season in actually late September, wasn't it?
Yeah, they call it the fall season.
I know they call it fall season, but they had so many tournaments with so much money. Now I think their leading money winner won $5 million last year, something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean I enjoy having an option at least watch it year round. I think it's a good thing.
And some of your favorite golfers didn't do as well.
Coach, we haven't even talked about Major League Baseball. The Dodgers beat Milwaukee, and they'll play Boston for the World Series starting maybe tonight.
Well, that will be a great series, and I'll tell you when they'll start.
Maybe was it Wednesday night?
It'll be because you got Monday Night Football. You know, they're real conscious of that now. Is trying to keep baseball and football separate.
I mean, there's some diehard baseball guys out there, and Troy's a crazy baseball town, so I'm sure a lot of people in Troy probably watch the playoffs, but I just can't get into it, man. I really can't.
Yeah, I can't either.
I'll flip through the channels and watch a little bit. But that's the one sport out of them all, for some reason. I was a huge baseball fan growing up. I mean, I watched the Braves every night. I watched the Cubs when I got a chance. I just watched baseball, and I love going to baseball games. But, man, that's the one sport that's kind of fading away for me a little bit.
Well, but it's still probably the most watched sport of them all, wouldn't you think?
NFL's number one by far, the ratings.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But I was trying to...
The Titans were playing yesterday. It was crazy. I was getting up early. I was running some errands to get ready for the birthday party yesterday, and I was going to the grocery store early, and the Titans radio was on live, and I forgot they were playing over in London yesterday. So I was listening to their radio at 7 in the morning yesterday.
Oh boy, Mike, you're right. I can't find the time of that baseball game. You're right.
I'll find it.
We're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back.
At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we support our military. That's right, not a $1,000 sign-on bonus, but $1,200 sign-on bonus at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Thanks for your service. Thanks for your service. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we support our military.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, if you didn't stay up, Kansas City walloped Cincinnati last night. So the pros are hard to figure right now. Kansas City's 5-1. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, are 7-0, and they're just dominating pretty much everybody with this quarterback out of the University of California, Mike.
Yeah, Jared Goff. Of course, their coach, Sean McVay, is the youngest coach in the NFL. He's 33 years old.
And, of course...
tonight, y'all have Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley playing against the Falcons. Will play the Giants. The Giants are really struggling this year.
Boy, and I feel sorry for...
struggling this year.
I've got a feeling we're fixing to see Manning benched, and that is very rarely ever happened, but I don't see how they can stay with Manning the way he's been playing, Mike.
I mean, Manning's 37 years old. He's won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, he's probably had enough to have a Hall of Fame career. I mean,
no question.
Just shut it down.
Eli Manning, of course, the brother of Peyton and
Manning. Yeah, I was mentioning before the break, if anybody wants to watch the Troy game, it'll be on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock.
ESPN2, ladies and gentlemen, I will make a prediction. Maybe the most watched Troy game in the history of their college football. This game's going to be on ESPN2, where so many people can accidentally find it on their TV.
Yeah, it's the only football game in the country.
And it's the only football game in the country, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody likes football. Every bar in the country probably will have the game on, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be sports books.
Not just a bar, but restaurant.
There'll be sports books in Vegas, and that'll be one of the few games, one of the few wagers you'll make that night.
And there's going to be so many thousands of people saying, where's Troy? Tell me a little bit about Troy. What about Troy? Oh, well, several years ago, I remember watching them on ESPN and saw them beat Missouri, and I saw them beat Oklahoma State.
Oh, I mean, back-to-back seasons, you beat LSU.
And then you're right. And then we beat LSU. They beat LSU, and then of course they came back and they beat Nebraska. So that's who Troy is.
I mean, what kind of changes do you think we'll see? I mean, offensively, do you think that they'll play?
I've got to think they're going to try
more, or do you think they'll, try to give Sawyer Smith, room to improve, or will they have a quick trigger if he doesn't play very well? I'm really interested in what's going to happen.
I've got a feeling about that game. I think Troy's got to run the ball better. They're going to have to run the ball and keep it away.
No, running has not been an issue. B.J. Smith's got 3 straight games over 100 yards.
But they got to be balanced. They've got to be balanced.
Last week they threw for 100 yards against Liberty.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
All right, Mike, the head football coach is Campbell.
Steve Campbell.
Played on a national championship in 1987 for Troy. He's the center.
Is the offense coordinator.
Kenny Edenfield was a wide receiver on that team.
And then Haystack Stewart.
And Haystack Stewart was a little nose guard, stumpy-looking nose guard that played on the, I want to say played on 84 and 87, didn't he? I think he played on 2.
They said he was 48-1 as a player.
48-1 as a player. That is phenomenal, isn't it?
But these guys will do all they can to beat Troy. Trust me, that they are going to have a game plan, and they're going to be ready to go. Steve Campbell's a really good coach, and we know Coach Edenfield's a good coach.
Do they run the option, or what do they do so much?
No, they just run a pro style. I mean, they run out of the spread.
But they're a big running team. Aren't they known for the ability to run the football?
Well, I mean, yeah, they run, but I mean they're balanced. But I mean, I think they prefer to run.
Want to say hello to everybody watching us on.
Troy faced Stewart many times when he was defense coordinator at Jacksonville State under Jack Crow.
Yeah.
And then
He's never beat, but you know what? He never beat Troy. Did you know that, Mike?
Yeah, but Troy lost to. He beat Troy several times when he was at Louisiana Lafayette under.
He did. Yeah. Okay.
He was defense coordinator at Louisiana Lafayette, and he also, after that, ended up going to Central Arkansas with Campbell. So that's kind of how he ended up with Campbell.
Yeah. Well, it's going to
be a really interesting game. Mobile, I think, will come out and support Southwell, so there'll be a big crowd.
This one, yeah. I wouldn't doubt if it's not a sellout. It could be very close to it being a sellout. You can still buy your tickets, I think, at the ticket office at Troy. It'll be the last day, though, you can buy them. And then, of course, you'll have to go to Mobile and buy them at the gate down there. And we're expecting a huge crowd from Troy. As we mentioned, all these buses, 23 to 25 Trailway buses will be heading down there for the game. And, of course, I know Coach Brown will have his team ready to play. But is our quarterback good enough, Mike? This is where I look at it. Is our quarterback, Sawyer Smith, good enough to beat South Carolina? South Alabama. What am I talking about? South Alabama. And I do put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but it's going to be a lot left up to him on how well he plays.
Well, he should have a lot of family there. I mean, he's from Mobile.
From Pensacola,
State High School.
And my opinion about him is if he plays well, we'll win. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just one of those situations where Troy, apparently, according to Coach Brown, had their worst blocking performance of all time as far as receivers in that game as well. So, I mean,
they're going to cover.
They're
going to cover the perimeters more.
Troy's best offensive lineman is out again. Crowder, he's still hurt.
How about number 2? Is he back in on defense?
Yeah, hopefully number 2, Trey Folsom will be on the field. He's a huge difference maker.
And they're getting their top defensive player back,
too. It's one of
too.
those things where South Alabama's played a brutal schedule and beat Alabama State last week, so they've won 2 games. They beat Texas State and Alabama State, so hopefully Troy will put on another loss.
Their top linebacker's coming back, Mike, who's missed the last 2 games, so that's going to help them a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ride on the bus with us, call us today at 372-2001. 372-2001. We'd love to have you on the bus with us, and we're leaving at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon from the Alumni House right in Troy, and we'll return right after the game. So it should be a great ball game. We look forward to it, and hey, all I got to say is go Trojans.